When you guys have lived one day, you're going to protect that space. You're not going to so easily give that up. So that's the first thing I want you guys to understand, is that you need to create value in order to protect value. The reason why you can't set boundaries is because you don't have anything to set boundaries for. So that's what I want you guys to really think about, because a lot of men actually don't have anything to protect. So number one, first thing you guys are going to do is give everything that you can to the environment that you're in. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, and the friends that you have, like as if that's all you're ever going to have. Today you're going to show up for everybody around you today. Not for who you want, not maybe Leonardo DiCaprio's party or the cool Halloween party that you're going to go to with Jay-Z and Kevin Hart. No. We're talking about your life and being able to show up for those people, and is that enough for you? I think that's one of the most important things that you guys can understand, is that you guys will find the value of your life by doing that. You'll also find the value of your life by stop looking for the party that you wish you got invited to and start just going to the places that you want to go. I promise you, your life is not the Halloween that happens on October 31st. You don't need to party today if you don't want to. You don't. I really implement that. Don't party if you don't want to. It's a survival mechanism that a lot of people are caught into. If you don't want to party, don't do it. If you want to show face for a little bit, show face for a little bit and leave. If you're somebody that's working on your social skills, go ahead and do it. But you're not here to party, you're here to learn. And I think that's a much better place to be than somebody who's like, I'm here to get drunk and make this a night to remember, as I then go ahead and text every girl that I ever met last night telling them I miss them because I'm so fucking drunk. It's embarrassing. And the worst part is it does not give you a framework by which you can construct and build things. And I think that's the whole point of this, which is like, let's build and construct things. And if we can't do that, then you don't feel like a man to yourself. And that's the whole problem, right? Now you have your head up your ass, you're chasing one girl, and you don't even know why you're chasing her, she's not even putting effort in. You're like, this sucks ass. So, first things first, you gotta know what kind of value you are protecting in your life. And it's really important to understand that if I gave to everybody in my life that was around my life today, then I would probably experience what you call a transformation. I love it. This is one of the most important things that you guys can do. You feel lonely? You feel like your life isn't enough? Think about who's in your life and give everything that you can to those people and stop wishing them away. That is an embodiment of watering the grass on your lawn, not your neighbor's grass, because it looks greener. I promise you, your grass is just as great. You just gave it no love or attention. And I think the next thing you guys can do is already start speaking to yourself like you're the person that you love. You know, if any of you guys have world-class love. We all do, by the way. The problem is we externalize it. And that's where we become weak. You know, you take somebody like Avi, very kind, very compassionate, somebody who really looks out for everybody in his life, but unfortunately undermines himself a lot. In fact, maybe too much. Think about if Avi was the friend to himself and how much love he would give Avi if he was a friend, not himself. And it's a really good way to start looking at about how you want yourself to behave. It's from the third person, right? Which is, I'm going to go ahead and take care of me here. I'm going to give myself the love that I give others by looking at myself like the third person. And it's a great little thing to do. If you're somebody that can disassociate or put yourself in a space of cognitive dissonance, create that cognitive dissonance with yourself, and now you got yourself a powerful tool, which is, what would I do for this guy? How would I love him? How would I show up for him? And also, by the way, you can ask yourself another question. Why do I feel resistant to him when I want to give him love? And that's part of the internal work. Because I now noticed that myself. I saw this like really cute inner child. I wasn't like bring him in and give him kisses and hugs. It was like, no. And I was like, whoa, found something there. I found resistance to me giving myself that love. And then now you have the conversation with yourself, and you end that conversation with an understanding of why you didn't. And then with that understanding of why you didn't, you choose to love him. And that's what love is. Love is choice. There's a really powerful quote. If you're lonely, you use. If you're capable of loving, you choose. And I believe that's a really good place to start this, right? Which is a lot of time, maybe you guys are starting to date. So just here's some framework for what we're talking about today, which is introduction dating, which is like the beginning. I think a lot of people really fuck up in the beginning. And you know why they fuck up? Not because they get the girl or because they don't get the girl, but because they completely remove all of the standards that they have, all of the values that they have, because they're in scarcity. And I think ultimately everything comes down to that. If you guys are in scarcity, dating is a fucking mess. Scarcity is a behavior that you embody with a belief in yourself that there are options. If there are not options, you're not making choices. If there are not options, you're walking on eggshells. If there are not options, then you're pretty much allowing everybody to determine and dictate how you need to be because you are not good enough. That's the danger. So it's always really important that we understand that what we're really trying to do with this is inherently protect something of value. And this is something I did. I was 22 years old when I met the first girl that I loved. And now I think that's crazy. I fell in love at 22, not at 18 with my first girlfriend, or 21 with my second girlfriend. It was just somebody that I accepted. And I think what was interesting is that I could not bring her home for Shabbat. I could not show her to my parents. I could bring her around with my friends or whatever it is. But I noticed that this is not the kind of person that you so easily just bring around. Sure, she was pretty and cute and very funny. But the whole point is that like when you're involved in like a particular culture, you're more likely to push that person away. But anyways, I think that the most important step to any love is acceptance. And that's where it happened for me. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I think a lot of the time people didn't have something of value to protect. So my first girlfriend, or say my first real girlfriend, I had for a year and a half, moved in together, whole thing. The reason why I so easily moved in and went around this gallivanting trip was because I didn't have a relationship with the people around me. I didn't have a relationship with my own life to realize how valuable it was. What do you think happened a year and a half later? When I realized the job I had was amazing. When I realized the clients I trained were incredible. When I realized the nieces and nephews I had were being abandoned. When I realized the friends I had were the best friends you could ever ask for. When I realized my parents were literally divinely sent. When I realized even everything that I have, my ability to speak and communicate with people, to even have my own space, to write, to journal, to sleep on my own, the value of that. And I think that's something we really like to sell out. But the truth is you're selling out your own life. That's the whole problem. And what are the one thing women hate? They hate sellouts. So when I realized that actually I was protecting something of value, that's when I actually started to create the change in my life, right? So what's the first step that you guys are going to do in order to go about your life? Which is live your life. See what it is and who you're inviting into it. So of course, this was the hottest girl I ever met at the time. I was 22. She was gorgeous. She was funny. She was exuberant, covered in tattoos, makes my brain go wild. Somebody I accepted, somebody I actually wanted to show off and share because of how much polarity we had between each other, which I found very interesting. But what I did find interesting is that it wasn't so easy for me to do that. And what is the most thing that most of us do? Is we're like, bro, when I meet the girl, she's meeting the family. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing that. She's going to be integrated. And it's like, well, what does that often do? It takes away the one thing that women need to feel in a process. It's called qualification. You need to realize that you are protecting something. How valuable the space that you have in your life is. On your own. And I think that loneliness a lot of the time deters people's relationship with what that really represents. And it's really heartbreaking because at the end of the day, you're not seeing how amazing your life is. And so what ended up happening is that this was me. I look back at myself and I was like, when I was 22, looking back at 20, 21, and 19, even 18, I was like, damn, it took literally nothing. Now I'm putting walls up. And I said, well, why am I doing that? Why am I not putting walls up? It's called what you call security checking, right? You want to get on this plane. I don't care how beautiful you are. You're not blowing it up. I love the people on it. I love the people in my home. And she goes, well, what the hell? You're giving me a hard time. You might think it's a hard time, but I promise you, it's worth it. It's really worth it. There's love here. There's a home here. There's a forever space here. If you don't want it as much as you understand this system, then you don't get it. Now, this is the problem. A lot of people have that, but don't believe what they're protecting is valuable. The reason why a lot of people's standards keep them lonely is because they don't have standards. It's an expectation that other people put on them that they think they need to feel for themselves. It's not actually a relationship they have with themselves. You need to be able to set the boundaries that you believe that you are worthy of receiving. The way that you want to be treated genuinely is the way that you treat others. You externalize the way that you want to be treated a lot of the time. Pay attention to that. And that's a great way to see how you want to be treated, how you treat others. You text when they text, right? They let you know their plans when you let you know their plans. Like a lot of the time, the love that you actually want for yourself is what you give to others, but you're too afraid to give it to yourself because that love is foreign. And that's how love works. So I found it really interesting from 21 to 22 to realizing that I was actually initiating the dating and initiating the breakups, right? And I think that's where a lot of men like to be. And here's how you do it. You have to connect the life that you have now like it's the only life there is to realize the value there is in that. Because if that life isn't good enough, the life with her won't be good enough. And as a woman, she will mirror that in the external sense. And what is she going to tell you all the time? You're not good enough. So, I think it's a little fun when you realize, okay, let me go look at my life. Let me look at my car. Let me look around. Let me take a deep breath. Let me see my physique. Let me see the way that I feel that I look. Can I show up for all of these things, and could I actually connect to them? That's really what you're doing. So what I really like about this is that when you guys understand this is inherently the frame, which is my life is so damn good, the last thing I need is a problem in it. That's the frame. Okay? What is a problem? I'll tell you what a problem is. A person that does not support your highest purpose. That's in a nutshell. What does that look like in other ways? And I think in other ways, it looks very interesting. In other ways, it looks like, are you the person that I'm actually going to, that I want to build this vision with? You have to think about it that way, right? You have to actually elevate your own standard for yourself and how you want your life to be in order to really feel where that person can be in your life. Because now what happens when you have this kind of framework where you're like, you know what? I want something with love and connection, which is something you can't ask for. It's actually something you can only invite. And by the way, I think the one thing that a lot of men want is effort. But truth be told, they don't feel deserving of that effort. They feel disappointed that other people won't give them that effort because they're too afraid of giving that to themselves. I do believe that a lot of time, if you're not seeing effort from the world, give more effort to your own life and to the people around you. You will get more reward than ever. So, having something of value, knowing what that is, seeing how amazing your life really is. And I think most men conveniently want marriage or conveniently want a relationship because it would prevent them from confronting a lot of the problems they have. So I was at this wedding last night. Really nice place, nice trees, string lights, cute girls, cute guys, whatever it was. Good, like, young wedding, good, nice couples. And I realized something. There's this one guy there, really handsome guy, 24 years old. And he comes up to me, and the first thing he thinks is that I'm not looking for marriage or whatever it was. And I think ultimately we're all striving towards an ideal, but we're not trying to fucking become idealistic assholes and shove our head up our asses. That's the whole problem we have here. I really want you to know this, that a man needs to be connected to his life and understand the value of his life as it is in order to have a woman of value come into his life. If you max your life out to 100%, you're really going to question, and I mean this is truly when you're in abundance. When you see what your life has to offer and the things that you're building give you fulfillment, and the friends that you have are inspirational, and the parents that you have are not demonized, and that you want to connect to everybody in your life as deeply as you can because your life is so damn good, it's more than abundance. It's what I like to call an absolute state of being unleashed, weightless. You're in another dimension. You can literally create what you like. You can build your own wife at that point. At that point, you start qualifying. And I finally noticed it was really fun. So this guy's like, are you looking to get married? You want to get set up? And I said, no, I'm not looking, I'm living. And sure, I felt like Matthew McConaughey when I said it, but I really felt that there was something really rich to it, which is actually a lot of men are looking because their life is not full of life. It's not full of life. They're missing something. And I think the biggest lie that anybody has ever been told is that they're missing something. I know that might be something that maybe upsets you because your life has a lot of things to confront. You should confront all the things in your life that you should confront. There's no question about it. Because if you actually valued your life, you would protect yourself from the bullshit that's in your own bed. You'd clean the damn sheets. You wouldn't sleep next to a partner that shits in the bed every day. If that's reoccurring behavior, you get out of the fucking bed and you take the bed out, you drag it out to the front door and you throw it out there and she goes, you're an asshole. You just threw me out in the cold. And you go, no, I'm not an asshole. I'm protecting the fact that you're shitting in my own house. And I think a lot of the time people don't know that about relationships, as they often keep the trash right next to them. And they often shit where they eat, and then they mix it up sometimes, and they're like, oh, life is so bad. And it's like, no, life is damn fucking good. You make it bad because you don't look at the things around you that actually make your life so damn amazing. So the biggest lie, you can write it down, that my life lacks something. That my life is not good enough. And you know why I say this? It's because I work with really wealthy people. People, very beautiful people too. And I noticed that I've also met people that didn't have much, but had everything. And I also have been on the side of the thing where having everything and not feeling like I had much. And I can tell you the difference. I did not give to the things that were there. And I hope you know the last person that you need to show up for once you give to everybody, or I would say the first person you should show up for, is yourself. I know a lot of the time what happens. This is what being present is. And this is kind of how you guys are going to work with this. There's people in your life. Engage. Involved. Being invited to parties. Engage. Involve. Show up for yourself. Maybe it's just family. Show up for your family. And then who do you show up for? And show up for yourself. Maybe nobody's around. What's the first thing we do when nobody's around? Try to make plans. Try to get out of the space. What if it's about showing up for you? What if it's not about rushing this either? What if it's about accepting yourself the way that you are and then allowing the plans to feel authentic? Actually feel listening to your life. And I think that's a great thing you guys should start doing, which is, oh shit, nothing to do. Who said that? You said that because you trained yourself to think there's nothing to do. What if you took a moment and listened deep to what's going on in your heart, to what's going on in your spirit? Listen to the thoughts in your head. And this is why I think really meditation is such a powerful art. It is the art of being. And I said this last night to a group of guys I was talking to, and I said, most people can't sit down and stare at a wall and find euphoria in that. Most people can't do nothing. Why? You tell them, hey man, stop, don't do anything. How long? 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. What? How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to do this? Immediately people's survival instincts kick in. How am I going to be worthy of love? If I do nothing, how would a girl ever meet me? If I'm not talking to anybody, I don't put myself... You get it? You couldn't even be for 1 minute. Well, not even 1 minute. You couldn't even fucking do 1 hour. Because every time, just the thought of being triggers all of the feelings of not good enough. So, inherently what we're doing right now is creating a life where you realize, I'm going to stop engineering everything, because if I have to start engineering everything, maybe my life lacks substance itself. And this is a much better place to start, because then the engineering happens authentically. It's like you want to build the Lego set, nobody told you to do it, you do it naturally. And I want you guys to also understand this. All of your charm, all of your confidence, all of your charisma, you were born with. It is authentic to you.